Uniform video. In a standard equation, to find the degree, you find the largest exponent. In this case, it's 3, and it's odd. So for the degree, it would be odd. To find the leading coefficient, you'd find the largest number next to the largest exponent. For this equation, it's 4, and it's positive, so the leading coefficient would be positive. For your graph, the x would be going positive infinity to the right, and the y would be going positive infinity up. Your x would be going negative infinity to the left, and your y would be going negative infinity down. For this equation, the exponent is 3, so the degree would be odd, and the leading coefficient is negative. For the graph, the x would be going positive infinity to the right, and the y would be going negative infinity up. The x would be going negative infinity for the left, and the y would be going positive infinity down. For this equation, the boss would be 7x to the 4th. The exponent would be 4, and the degree would be even. The leading coefficient would be positive. Okay. For the graph, the x would be positive infinity to the right, and the y would be positive infinity up. The x would be negative infinity to the left, and the y would be positive infinity down. For this equation, the coefficient would be 4, so the degree would be even, and the boss is 3, so the leading coefficient is negative. For the graph, the x would be going positive infinity to the right, and the y would be going negative infinity up. The x would be going negative infinity to the left, and the y would be going negative infinity down.
Hello.
Oh my god!
Since it's 2m plus n to the third power, we'd use the third row of Pascal's triangle. Then you put 2m next to every number, and then n after every number, and then put an exponent on the 2m going from 3 down to 0, and on n from 0 up to 3. Then you simplify. First you double distribute the first 2, then after you do that, distribute the last 2m plus n to the new equation. Then you combine like terms. That'd be so funny. Die. Yeah, she does that hard.
Synthetic division. Find all real solutions using synthetic division given one possible solution of f2. With that 2, you put it outside of a chart, and you get 1, 4, -3, -18 from the equation. You always bring down the first number in the chart. In this case, it will be 1. You times the 2 with the 1 to get positive 2, and you put that underneath the 4. You add down, and you get 6. You do the same thing, and you times the 2 with the 6. You repeat that step 2 more times, and then you'll get 1, 6, 9, 0. Your answer from the chart will be equal to x minus 2 y x squared plus 6x plus 9 equals 0. You make the x minus 2 because you switched the signs. You look at your equation, see if you can factor out anything, and you can with x squared. You get x times x. You see if you can factor out anything from 9 that if you add together you get 6, and you times together you get 9, and you can with with 3 times 3. Now you have x minus 2 and x plus 3 and x plus 3. You can move over the x minus 2, and you can make the x plus 3 and x plus 3 squared, and you equal that to 0. Now you equal x minus 2 to 0 and x plus 3 to 0 to get x equals 2 and x equals negative 30.
Unlike other guys, why would you lie about how much?
So first I'm going to simplify the equation by factoring out a 2. After I've done that, now I can factor by grouping. Now that I've made both of my groups, I see that in the first group an x to the third can be factored out, and in the second group a negative 27 can be factored out. Since in the parentheses of both groups I have x plus 2, they become one group of their own, and x to the third minus 27 becomes a group as well. In order to factor further in the problem later, I'm going to change the negative 27 to a negative 3 to the third. To finish up my problem, I'm going to put it into difference of 2 cubes. My a is x and my b is 3. After I've plugged in everything into the formula, I'm going to factor out the middle group. This gives me 2 groups of x plus 3 in parentheses, which can also be written as x plus 3 parentheses squared. And now my problem has been factored completely.